Welcome back, my audience of probably one right now. Today we're going to be discussing some wonderful cyberpunk leaks. Now, I say leaks because there's no way for me to validate if any of this is true, but I mean, such is the world of leaks. But I mean, hey, this guy has some, or girl, don't know who they are, has some pretty, I guess, reasonably acceptable points as to how he, decides to back up these claims. So, let's get right into it. So, perusing the interwebs today, I came across an interesting post. This was posted March 26th by Idle Sloth. Now, I do not know if Idle Sloth is the same person who made this leak on Reddit, but if they are, there's the credit. If not, let us continue. So, if you click here, there's obviously the source, and click here, there's the proof. It's right there. So let's start off with the proof. Well, and the source, because we'll get to that part. This looks exciting, but this also makes me pretty upset because that means that for a while, for a long time, these guys were aware of how they were going to release this game in crap condition. But anyway, let's get into it. So, first one that is seen here, Ripper Docks expansion. That should be pretty self-explanatory. They're probably going to increase maybe Ripper Dock inventory, locations, you name it. Like new, drawing a blank. New cybernetic implants with new abilities, maybe more powers or something. Anyway, exciting. Now we have Body Shops expansion. Vehicle customization? Awesome. But that should have been in the game at launch. Fashion forward expansion. So I'm guessing they're probably just going to be adding more clothes, which is cool. I mean, the game launched with a pretty big supply of clothing. There was no shortage in that, believe you me. Oh yeah, Gangs of Night City. Now this one is interesting. Because this can mean a few things, or it can mean a few things at the same time. My first reaction was, they're going to let you pick a gang. Voodoo Boys, Maelstrom, Corpos, Nomads, Street Kids. You can now align yourself with the gang of your choosing and take on gang quests. That would be dope. But this also could be them adding maybe new gangs come in and take over. But it would, I don't know, it would be interesting to see how they would incorporate that, because if that's the route where they have new gangs to deal with and new quest lines and stuff, because depending on the ending, you could either be in Night City dead or leave somewhere with someone. Try to keep it kind of vague, but I mean, come on, if you haven't played it by now, that's kind of on you. Spoiler restrictions are only for the first 2 months, in my opinion. in my opinion. Anyway, next one. Body of Chrome. Character customization. Finally. Again, these things excite me, but also disappoint me because these should be the fixes in the patches and updates, not like not packaged as free DOC. That's still very misleading. And that, that was the huge problem with the release of this game. It was very misleading, and they're continuing that trend of being misleading. Anyway, finally being able to customize your body or your character more than once. Because you could only customize them in the very beginning of the game, and then that's it. You couldn't even get a haircut. So, and hopefully they'll add new, appearances, obviously, to the parts of your body that you can customize. Not talking about the dicks and vaginas, though. I mean, they should have a boob slider and a butt slider, but that's not it. Rides of the Dark Future. That sounds like a quest line to me, simple quest, maybe to unlock a cool car. The Relic. That's very interesting. See, because again, this would have to go based off of. Yeah, I mean, it would just be interesting to again. This is a quest, which seems like a quest to me. It would be interesting to me how they would incorporate it, because I mean, I could be mistaken, but clearly they're talking about the relic, the Johnny Silverhand relic in your, in your head the whole game. Because again, these are coming out as free DLCs, and I feel like these are things that probably should have been in the game. Depending on your ending, like, is it going to be 3 different stories, or is it going to be just one story that is not going to be tied to the choices you made in your campaign? If that's the case, that's really corny. But I'm going to have the high hopes. I'm still hoping that they will redeem themselves in the blatant action of continuing to mislead. But then again, that is if this is true. If this is a legit leak, then so still take all this stuff with a nice big boulder of salt. Neck deep. Also sounds like a quest. So far, 3 quests. Hey, we'll get here. 3 quests. And then features that should have already been in the game. Now this one's interesting. Night City expansion. Does that mean we're getting like? See, this could be so many things. This could be like they add an actual area, because like I mean, for anyone who's played Cyberpunk knows that when you go to the map, you can scroll like. So like, here's your. It'd be probably be easier if I showed it on screen. Anyway, so here is the Cyberpunk map. You can actually go, well beyond the borders of the city. So are they going to add new areas to the map? That would be cool. I don't know how they would explain that, but also that could be more side gigs and stuff like that. It also could be, I guess, activities, because remember how they were like swearing up and down that, you're going to be able to go into these buildings and there's going to be so much life and so many activities that you can do in these buildings and blah, 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 to kind of, make up for the map being significantly smaller than The Witcher. Maybe that's what this is. Because it all this is this Night City expansion, so that one's kind of the most vague of all of them all. So yeah. So before I show the source, I'm just going to show you this real quick, which is interesting to me because this is what kind of, to me, gives it some validity. As you've probably seen if you're used to Reddit, you know, it's removed. If this didn't have any credibility, in my opinion, why would they remove it? You know? I mean, it was only up for 2 days. I mean, this was moved, I think, like a day ago. I'm just seeing this now. So, in the span of 2 days, this has already been removed. And Cyberpunk hasn't even announced what they're going to be doing with the DLCs yet. You know, they just keep saying it's coming soon. If you want to read that, you can pause that and read that. Basically, he's just stating that he found all this stuff, everything that we just went through. So then here is an update from Prickly Assassin. So, you know, okay, so yeah, a day ago, yeah. So it only lasted 1 day before it got removed. That was a really quick removal. So yesterday I made a post that, you know, caused a lot of backlash, miscommunication about upcoming DLCs for Cyberpunk. And this is the original post. One of the comments asked me to show how I managed to obtain this information, so they could validate it themselves. To which I replied, for a price, yes. Shortly after I made that comment, I deleted it, and that was because I wasn't asking for money. By price, I meant all of the risks involved with making some sensitive info public. I have not and will not receive any payment whatsoever to share the sensitive info. Another comment pointed out that the screenshots provided as proof are photoshopped. Very valid point to bring up. The screenshots I posted are all I could provide at the time without sharing sensitive info. Also, I wouldn't go through the effort of Photoshop because I'm bad at it. That's kind of a lame defense, but let's carry on. So this is where the interesting part, how he obtained this information. So according to them, because I don't know who this is, Epic uses what's called AES keys to encrypt most of their servers. And if you don't know what that is, because he doesn't explain it here, basically it's so the string of the password, when it's encrypted with an AES encryption, all it is basically, it's a code, right? It's like a secret code. All they do is they take the letter of the alphabet that is the code, and then they add the letter that's right after it. So, like let's say you're trying to spell the, right? Rather than spelling THE, you would spell UIF. Because in the alphabet, UIF, each one of those letters comes after the letter that's supposed to spell the word the, if that makes sense. I'll try to put up a visual representation here. So, yes, when the correct AES key has been found and the encryption lock has been bypassed, some info that is supposed to be available to developers becomes visible in an early preview of Epic Game Store storefront. And yeah, so I hope to clear up any miscommunication or misinformation. If any of that is for real, that's pretty fucking dope. but also again very disappointing. I just wish they pushed the release date back. Again, I would have been happier having this game release this year than the atrocity that I fucking dealt with at launch. Now I know in my first video, it probably sounds like I had conflicting emotions with Cyberpunk, and I do. I hate a lot about what's wrong with the game, what is missing in the game, but also at its core what it is, or what it what it wants to be, basically an open world role-playing game that is based heavily on lore. I like it. I love it, actually. When it comes to the world building, that's where the game really shines. And it's a specific kind of world building. It's very lore driven. Granted, the story is kind of fucking vague, but when I say lore, I mean like the story of the world, not necessarily the story of your character. Because if you pay attention to a lot of the shards and shit that you pick up, and you read these exchanges, I mean, there's a fuck ton of pieces of literature that you can pick up in this game and read and see and feel that there is life in the world. Yes, NPCs can pop in and out. Textures fuck up sometimes because the optimization of the game is poor. Granted, in a much better state than when it released, but still not up to what it should be. It's just like I said in the first video, it's just not done. The game is not done. But anyway, and another fun piece of news for today. 6 hours ago, the release date for Black Adam was announced, and I was pretty spot on. That's pretty crazy. That I just posted a video yesterday about this, and talking about the release, what year might come out, and hey, yeah, so July 29th, 2022. Let's see if it sticks to that date. But here's the release in Times Square. I believe it was Times Square. This was 6 hours ago. That's fucking awesome, dude. So, this video is kind of long. We'll cut it short. Well, I mean, not short because it's kind of long. We'll cut it off here. Thanks for coming back, if any of you did. And, yeah, catch you next time.
There's nothing inside.